Hello.
Hello, Bogush, and hello, viewers. Welcome to Curious Monkey Gaming. I'm Matt, and this is about to be autumn in our beginner-friendly Let's Play of Medieval Dynasty. His Majesty's representative, the Herald, has appeared in autumn. We'll get to that later in the video. I realized a couple of things when I was recording episode 1 and 2. They ended up being very long. So I might change a couple of settings, which could help out a bit. So if we open up this menu and go to Customize Game, we have a few things. First of all, we have fast crafting and fast building. We've talked about those in episode 1 and 2. But we also have, where is it? Unlimited carry weight. So you probably spent a bit of time in the first and second episodes watching me run around carrying things back and forth. Unlimited carry weight basically means you can carry as much as you want, obviously. So that helps a lot in me shortening the things that I'm doing. I may also shorten some other things like the season length and that kind of thing as we go on. And it's autumn and we have cabbages. We planted cabbages last season. I'm going to collect all these cabbages and fast forward it. See you in a minute. Now, if you remember in episode 2, we harvested flax and we needed a sickle for that. The stupid, horrible stone sickle. Cabbages, you don't need any tool. You can just pick them up, which makes sense because that's how cabbages do actually work. So you can do different things with cabbages. If you notice in our inventory, that field, a 5x10 field, got us 407 cabbages, which is quite a lot. You can go over here and put them in the food storage where they will stay good for longer. And your villagers will eat them as long as, we looked at this last episode as well, as long as the management tab, people's demand control, food, you have cabbages turned on. Cabbages are relatively low down on the list and they are turned on. So my villagers will eat them, which is good because we have food demand, which you can see in management over on the right side above the map. We have a demand of 60 a day, but also because we have the cabbages now, you see we have 1,283 food at the moment. This is strange and confusing. Let me explain. If you go over to the food, either in your inventory or in the food storage, you see down the bottom that cabbage has a 3 food value. Roasted meat has a 14 food value. The apple has a 4 food value. That's what's being added together. It's not the 407 cabbages. It's, in the cabbage case, it's 407 times 3 because each cabbage is worth 3 food. So when we go into management, that's where the 1,283 comes from. It's kind of strange and confusing until you get used to it. But I know that that was something that was super mysterious to me at the beginning, what that number meant and where it came from. So now you know. The other thing you can do with food, with cabbage, is we have much more food than we need. So let's take half of these cabbages out. 200 is good. And we're going to just drop 200 cabbages on the floor. Again, to drop, you just hold down X, and there's our cabbage. So at the beginning of next season, at the beginning of winter, that cabbage will turn into rot. And it will turn into as many rot as food value. So we have 200 actual cabbages, but they are worth 3 food value each. So at the beginning of winter, that will be lying there, but it will be 600 rot. And rot you can make into fertilizer, which you need for your fields. So that's usually what I use cabbages for, because later game you end up with a lot more stuff that's much better for food. So it was pointed out by viewer KC Creations. She has a YouTube channel herself where she crafts various things, sewing and that kind of stuff. And she was nice enough to point out that I completely ignored, or almost completely ignored, many of the abandoned buildings around the map. So we're going to go explore some abandoned buildings a little bit more. She also pointed out that the abandoned building that we did explore, I forgot the basement, which is true and a mistake on my part. That was silly of me. So abandoned buildings are a good way to make money right at the beginning of the game. There are, on the Oxbow map, not on the Valley map, but on the Oxbow map, there are abandoned buildings all over the map. And they have all sorts of things in them. Some of the things in them are kind of useless, certainly not worth very much money. And occasionally there are extremely useful things to keep for yourself, or things you can sell for a lot of money. So we're going to go explore a couple of these abandoned buildings as a quick way to make a little more money. I was complaining in the last episode about not having very much money, and this will help a bit. At the beginning of the game, you get into a bit of a vicious cycle between, I need to build some things to make money or craft some things to make money, but I can't afford the scheme for those things because I have no money. And to get money, I need to craft things that I don't have schemes for, and so on. So we're going to fight against that a little bit by just getting some easy money right at the beginning. I'll fast forward me running over there, and I'll see you in a second. Oh, look. Beginning of each season, these random things spawn on the map. So that's 70 coin. Here's some iron ore, which at the moment I can't use, but I can sell for a lot. Bags are useful for farming, so I'll take those. And these things spawn on the side of the roads, or on the banks of rivers, or they can be anywhere, all over the map. And they can be barrels, or turned over carts, or packages of stuff. And they all just spawn randomly. So it's good to keep an eye out for those. So I'll fast forward this and I'll run up to the abandoned building where we were before. So here we are again, just for your reference. This is where we are on the map. We are just north, slightly west of Piastovia. And there's this abandoned building. We already searched through this one. We already searched through this one up here. But what we didn't do is go in the basement. Don't forget the basement, because in the basement, there is a bronze pickaxe, which we can sell for a lot of money, or keep it and use it for mining. There's a rye beer, which sells for good money, mead, another rye beer. This is all very good money. There's a bronze shovel, which also is good money. There's a container with some carrot seed, 122 coin, free money, and a large bundle with a copper bar and a golden ring, which sells for a lot of money as well. I always keep in first person and really look around, but I think that's it in here. I don't think there's anything else hidden away. So that's a good bit of money and very, very handy to have. So I don't know where all of the buildings are off the top of my head, but I know where one is, and it's not far from here. So we'll go over there. I'll just fast forward this as well. Isn't autumn pretty? I love running around the map in autumn in this game. So here's the other building, not very far from where we were. I'll show you on the map again where we are now. We're up here. So further north and a bit east slightly of Piastovia. And you have to be careful around this building because right behind it are some boars which will attack you if you get too close to them. But if we go in the chest, there's some clay mug. They're not really worth money. They're not really that big a deal. I keep those things for future decorating because you can drop mugs on tables and things like that, which can be kind of useful. I think in this particular hut there is nothing else. Sometimes there's like a knife stuck in the wall or a bag on the windowsill. You really have to search these thoroughly. I'm sure someone in the comments will let me know that I missed something. But if you climb up here, there's abandoned supplies with beer bottles, clay vases, and some coin. Again, beer bottles and clay vases are really just decoration. They're not worth much money, but they can be useful to keep just to use for decorating things later. And I think, I always forget this, which buildings have basements. This has a basement. So this is pretty cool. There's a recurve bow. There are some copper arrows, which are pretty useful. Over here, there's a torch, which is almost burned out. Not so useful. Here's a barrel with a bunch of money. Iron arrows are the best arrows. So those are a real find. Up on that shelf, even though it looks like it, there's nothing there. Here, there's berry wine, which sells for good money. More berry wine, and a dice set, which sells for a lot of money. Around the corner, it looks like there are things on the walls, but there aren't. Here's another package of stuff. A little fur, a little leather, a little salt. Salt sells for okay money if you have a lot of it. It adds up. Oh, and I almost forgot. Here's a rich hood, which will be useful when winter comes because it's warmer. We're going to need, for next season, it's almost winter, we're going to need some warmer clothing. And under this is a barrel with a bucket, which is nice, and almost 100 coin for free, which is also nice. I'm going to get up here in case boars come. So just from that, we can see, for example, that if we sold the bronze pickaxe, we get half of that much. So 200 and, what is that, 250, 295. Another 295 for the bronze shovel. If we sold the arrows, they would be, what's 5 times 7? You know what it is. Like I said, my brain don't math good. What else did we get? So over here, we got a rich hood, which we could theoretically sell for a lot. But right now, I'm going to keep it because for winter, we need some temperature protection. Berry wine. We got 2 berry wine, which sell for 120 together. We got some mead, which sells for 105. We got rye beer, which sells for 85 each. So 170 total. We got a bunch of stuff in here, none of which is that valuable. The iron ore we found on the side of the road is worth selling because you can't really use it until much later. The dice set sells for 375, and so does the golden ring. So just out of that stuff that we found in 2 buildings, we'll get a fair bit of money, a few thousand. But let's go search a little further. So for reference, we are here, north of Piastovia. Now I'm going to go over to the swamp over here. And again, I'll fast forward this to keep the video from getting insanely long. So we made it to the swamp. If you look around, when you come the way I came, straight ahead of you, over there is a building. That is a building that has a person in it, and I will let you meet him on your own. Just to the right, there are some abandoned buildings, which usually have no one in them. And just left, there are some abandoned buildings that also are usually empty. So let's go over to these and have a look. Around the swamp, you'll find things like turned over carts. Usually, if those are on the side of the road, they have stuff lying around them. In the swamp, they seem not to most of the time. So we've got this building that's sort of sunk, but you can climb up this part of the roof. And if we go into first person, you can see there's a chest over here. It's got a bronze knife, which is nice, and more buckets and some straw. Take all of it, why not? And I think that's it in this one. Once you've jumped in, you'll notice you'll bang your head. You have to squat down, push down the right stick to get out. And then there's this one over here, which looks like we can't get in through this door. But there's another door around here. And it's got boots in this bookshelf, another bag, which is useful for farming, and another berry wine, which sells for good money. It's got this poor guy over here. He's full of poisoned iron arrows. I'm really sorry, mate, but you're dead already. Won't hurt you if I take them. And a copper knife, which is also not bad to have or sell. I think that's it, but like I said, I'm sure someone in the comments will let me know that I missed something, because I always do. The window sills are empty. There's nothing I can see stuck in the walls. This bookshelf is turned over. The fire, what was that? Ah, yeah, there's a pouch lying here. See how they hide these things really well? That's a brown pouch on a brown piece of leather. I maybe have never picked that up. Ah, there's also an iron axe. I don't know if I've ever picked that up before. I've been in this hut I don't know how many times, and I've probably missed half of the stuff in it. So yeah, it's really worth it to walk around and see if a little thing pops up when you go over the ground. Maybe I got everything. Let me know again in the comments if you know that I didn't. Whoa, moose. I think personally that male moose and deer should be aggressive, because in real life they may be. Certainly if you get too close to them. But in this game they're not. They will not hurt you. They will run at you sometimes because they react in really funny ways, but they will not hurt you. So let's go over to these abandoned buildings. So there's a little hut here, which has a door on this side. Going to first person. There's a copper axe, which is nice to have, for sure. And again, a well-hidden pouch of coins. Not that many, but every little bit counts. I think that's it in that one. And there's another one next to it. Oh, which actually does have a guy in it. So let's talk to him.
Hello, sir.
What are you doing here? Shh, I'm ghost hunting. Ghosts don't exist. They want you to think that. Do you have any onions? Onions? Yep. Everyone knows that ghosts hate onions. How could you hate onions? There's nothing better than onions. So, do you have one or not? No, but if I get a smelly hand grenade of onion, you'll be the first to get it.
Bye.
He's a random spawn. He's not always here. So here's another recurve bow we can take. All of this stuff. There's poison we can take. There's more poisoned arrows, but these ones are bronze. All really good things to have or sell. Yeah, this kid is a random spawn. In fact, I think if you try and come back and give him an onion, unless you do it this season, he won't be here. I have never done that. Let's see if we can find an onion near here. So we're done with that abandoned building, and now we're coming to these other buildings. I will not get into talking to the guy here because he's an interesting discovery and fun. So I'll just let you do that. Let's see if he has any onions lying around. I said I wasn't going to steal in this game. But if he has an onion, just for convenience's sake, I will steal it. I'm going to skin his goat because that doesn't count as stealing. It wasn't red. This counts as stealing. And he doesn't have any onions lying around on his table. He's got a bunch of things. I am sneaking. So again, it's basically squat. I'm not going to steal his buckets because I said I wasn't going to steal. I'm making an exception for an onion. If he has an onion lying around somewhere, I'll take it. So there's wine bottles I could steal. I think some of them have wine in them, as I vaguely remember. He has poison and night vision potions. He doesn't seem to have any onions lying around, unfortunately. Yeah, that is unfortunate. I'm not going to run all the way back here after buying an onion somewhere else. I'm curious what the kid's up to, but anyway, another viewer whose name I do not have in front of me right now, I'm afraid, pointed out to me after I bought a backpack that there is, I think you have to go around this way, that there are numerous free backpacks on the map. I can't get under there. Nope. One of them is here. And I'm going to pick it up because I already have a backpack, but you can sell backpacks for a lot of money. So, damn it. I can't remember which way you need to go to get under there. But you need to get under the house here. So that works. You need to get under the house and then look around. Ah, it's over there. I can't. Yeah, I can get over there from here. Or can I? No, I can't. I need to go all the way around again. Damn it. So I'm going to run around the house and see where I can get under there. So once you get under there, you need to sneak squat your way over. Ah, man, it's really cramped under here. So there is a torch. There is a simple large backpack, which we can sell for a good bit of money. And there's a pouch of coins. So we can see already from the coins that we've found, we now have 500. I don't remember how many we had to start with. A backpack is clothing, and that'll sell for 380. And so on. So we have a good bit of stuff. If you keep exploring the map, there are something like 10 abandoned buildings. Don't quote me on that. I may be slightly off. There might be more or fewer, but there are abandoned buildings all over the place, and there are things like that backpack that are just lying around. Ah, look at this. Poison stone arrow stuck in this wagon. Maybe there are more. Seems like there was only one. Yeah, there are bits and pieces hiding around the map all over the place. So it can be a really good strategy in your very first spring to go exploring rather than doing anything else and just collecting a bunch of this stuff to get money. I like to get fields going as early as possible, but really it's 6 of one, half dozen of the other, because the reason I'm going for fields is to make money with flax. And you can make just as much or more money by exploring abandoned buildings to start with. The other thing you might notice right at the top of the screen, in the middle of the compass, there is this horn. If we go to the map, we'll also see the horn in Piastovia. What that means is the King's Herald has entered the map. The King's Herald enters the map randomly at the beginning of seasons. And he may not appear for many seasons because it's random. And he may just, the dice may roll and he doesn't appear. But eventually, no matter what, he will appear. Apparently the random chance increases for every season he doesn't appear. And he will be sitting in the tavern in Piastovia, or on the valley map in Gostovia in the tavern. And we'll go visit him after we've sold all of our goods. Oops. Also, typical Medieval Dynasty experience. You can see in the top left, we have a little marker. That little marker, that little marker means that our people do not have firewood. When it says no wood, it's kind of misleading, especially if you're looking at someone who's working in a woodshed. The woodshed is running fine. What no wood means is that they have no firewood. They have no wood to burn. A way to solve that, if you are not in your town or village at the moment, is to go into the woodshed, go into the assignments tab, and add firewood. I'm going to add firewood and planks, and I'm going to reduce the sticks and increase the firewood. And as you can see, they're going to make 6.76 firewood a day. So if you go out of this, over on the right above the map, you see wood. Demand is 60. And again, it's like food. I forget what the wood value of a piece of firewood is, unfortunately. But I'm gonna, just for now, until I get back. Okay, there we have firewood. I'm gonna reduce this as well and turn firewood up. And they're gonna be producing 7.91. I'll make it the same. And let them do that. It's nighttime almost anyway, which means they're not working right this second. But on the next day, they will start making firewood, which will somewhat help with that problem. It may actually completely solve that problem. I realize I need to drink. Drinking from a nice fresh river. Better than swamp water. And I'm going to run cross country. I think I said it last episode, this can be dangerous because you can run into a bunch of wolves or boar or wisent and they can mess you up. But I'm impatient. Let's see if I get myself killed. Hopefully not. But I will fast forward this as well and go to Piastovia, and I'll see you there. So we're back in Piastovia, and it's technically after hours, but if you use your inspector mode, you see that icon next to her name. That means she's a merchant. So you can find them at home if they're not sleeping. If they're sleeping, they won't wake up to talk to you. But if they're not sleeping yet, it's not absolutely dark, you can still make a deal. So first of all, we know that the dice set and the gold ring, these are gifts. You could technically give them to a woman that you're romancing, or your wife, if you already have one. We'll get into that later. But I don't really need them for that purpose. I need money. So I'm going to sell those. May as well sell the beer bottles. It's not much money, but it's money. I'll keep the copper iron, or the copper bars, but I'll sell the iron ore. I'll sell the salt. None of this is big money. I don't really need clay right now either. I'm selling it really just to get rid of it, not because it's worth a lot. So berry wine is worth okay money, 90 for 3 of them. The mead, the rye beers, and she's out of coin. As we can see on her side down the bottom of the list, she only has 7 coin left. So I'll go find somebody else. I know from past experience that one of the merchants lives down here. The old lady, Imislava, I think her name is. There she is, around the corner, and she has 1,294 coins, so I can probably sell everything to her. So where were we? We were in food, rye beer, and this stuff we don't want to sell. The thin boots are good to keep. They're not great for cold protection, but they are slightly armor. So they do have a bit of an armor value, which is new in the game. You see down the bottom, there is 3% slashing damage resistance and 1% bludgeoning. It's not much, but that shows you a bit of the armor in this game. So I think the bronze things I will keep. Buckets are also good to have. The copper axe is not bad to have. I'll sell this used up copper knife. I'll sell this iron axe because it's about to break anyway. Poison stone arrow I definitely don't need. All of the rest of the arrows are very good to have. I'll sell that recurve bow, but I'll keep this one because it might last for a little while. And I'll sell this bow, which is the bow I've been using, because I now have a recurve. I forgot, I have an extra backpack. I can sell that to her as well. Another good way to do this is to push down the right stick and sort by price descending. And then when you go to the top of the list, whoops, you'll see the thing that is worth the most money. And the bronze pickaxe is actually good for money, but I now have over 2,100 coin, which is pretty good. So I'm going to keep the bronze pickaxe because we might want to mine in the cave near our village. So I sold all of that stuff. That's good. I'm just thinking, I'm not sure if I need to buy anything right now, but I'll leave that for now and head back to town and my town and solve the firewood problem. I'll see you there. So we're back to Bogish's village. We want to solve the firewood problem, first of all. So the way you can do that yourself without depending on your woodcutters is you can just go into your resource storage, pick up a bunch of logs. I'll take 20. You may not be able to carry 20 at the beginning. I have unlimited carry weight on. You can also do that in your game, of course. It is allowed. It is not cheating. It's your game. It's your fun. It's your rules. So you go in here, and every log will make 4 firewood. So if I make 20, let's just make 20, not 21. Then we will have firewood in our inventory. So we look in our inventory and we look under resources or crafting. We see that firewood has a 5 wood value. Down the bottom on the left, it has a 5 wood value. So 80 is worth 400 wood. And then if we go to management, we see we have a demand of 60. So that means we're going to have more than enough firewood now. And also if you look on the left over here, you can see that everybody's mood has gone down to -2, and that's because they don't have firewood. So with mood will change when bad things happen. They run out of food, they run out of water, they run out of firewood, they don't have a house, they're doing a job that isn't the best skill they have. Numerous reasons, pretty much all of those reasons I think will cause mood to go down. You don't have to panic about that. Like, I didn't turn around and immediately run back to my village because a villager will not leave until they have -100% mood. Until then, they'll keep working. Now, mood does affect their productivity. The better the mood they have, the more they will produce, the faster they will produce. So getting their mood up is a good thing, but you don't have to absolutely panic about it. Nothing bad will happen immediately when mood starts going down. So we have lots of wood now, firewood. We unlocked an excavation shed, which is awesome. We'll look at that in a minute. Now we just throw all of that firewood in the resource storage. And then if we open up management again, we see we have 400 wood. We have a demand of 60 a day, so they're good for quite a while. So if we look at the excavation shed, it is a really small building that you can put a person in, and they will, in fact, I think you can put 2 people in, and they will get you stone automatically. You don't have to run around and pick up stones. They will get you copper ore, although they get you very little since the update. It was nerfed quite a bit. They'll get you limestone, which you can use to insulate a stone house. And they get you something else that I'm forgetting right now. But we can build one of those and have a look at it a little bit later. For now, I'm just going to go to bed. Bogush's house is over here. Good night, Bogush. Good morning, Bogush. So, let's go out and see what needs to be done. So, why don't we look at farming a little bit? If we go to management, we've got the people list, we've got the buildings list, and then we've got fields. So if I open the field, first of all, across the top, you can see in general, right now, you can see the state of the field, the current state. So it is unfertilized. Then if you go to the right, you've got spring, summer, autumn, winter. So what's going to happen in this field in each of those seasons? And you can plan them ahead. You can rotate crops in a field. This is kind of complex to get at the beginning. But when you hit Y to change plant type, you get this chart, which shows you in spring, you can plant or sow wheat, oak, flax, beetroot, onion, cabbage, carrot, poppies, and you can't sow anything else. If we go over to summer, if we go over to summer and hit change plant type, you can see the only thing you can sow in summer is cabbage. And so on for all of the seasons. This chart, although I can't scroll through it because it's only cabbage in summer, this chart shows you when everything can be planted, when it grows, and when you can harvest it. So to get a field 100% busy, you want things where sowing and harvesting overlap. They happen in the same season. So for example, this field I have set up just because I've done this myself. You can do it in this interface, or you can also do what you want in the world to the field yourself for an entire year, and it sets it up for you. So what I want is sowing flax in spring, and we see flax here because I sowed flax in spring. We want harvesting flax in summer, which I did, so it's on the chart already. And we want sowing cabbage in summer, which I also did, so it's been added. We want harvesting cabbage in autumn, which I did, so it's on the chart. And in autumn, we want to sow rye. So you can do it. So how you do that is you just go to Y to change plant type. You select one by hitting A, and then you hold down A and drag that across, right? But we don't want that, we want rye. So, the reason we want that and we don't want wheat, we want rye, because rye sows in autumn and harvests in spring. And you can look down a bit and see that flax sows in spring. Wheat sows in autumn but doesn't harvest until summer, so it doesn't rotate very well with flax. Does that make sense? I'm guessing it may not make sense the first time, but keep looking at this chart and thinking about what you can get harvest and sowing to overlap in the same season. So I always have fields of flax in spring, planting, sowing flax in spring, sowing cabbage in summer, and sowing rye in autumn. Winter, you can't sow anything except carrots, and I never bother to grow carrots. So I always have flax, cabbage, rye, and then later I'll have a field of oats in spring and rye in autumn, because oats and rye are necessary to make animal feed. We'll get into animals a bit later, probably another episode. And then I always have a autumn wheat field. Just wheat. Sowing in autumn, harvesting in summer. It doesn't exactly overlap, but wheat is really weird. If you look at wheat at the top, it's sowing in autumn, harvesting in summer. And if you look towards two down, there's also sowing in spring and harvesting in autumn. So wheat is kind of strange because it has two different growth cycles, which are one's short, one's long. And the spring wheat, nothing overlaps with that except rye. But I don't really want to do rye wheat because I'm going to have flax, cabbage, rye everywhere else. And it overlaps with other things just in weird ways. So I usually do flax, cabbage, rye, one field with just wheat, and a field with oats and rye. So I end up with a lot of rye, and a lot of cabbages, and a lot of flax, which are all good. So I am still doing these fields by myself, which we will change soon. But for now, I'm going to take a wooden hoe and a simple bag. And I think we don't have any fertilizer, which is always a bit of a problem. I may have to go buy some. Yeah, we don't have any fertilizer and we don't have any manure, which we could turn into fertilizer, and we don't have any rot yet, which we could turn into fertilizer. So I'm going to have to go buy those. We can't fertilize this, which is the first step.
Sometimes I start to wonder
I'm gonna... Before we do that, before we go shopping, I'm going to go ahead and put down another 5x10 field. And you can line things up. I've said it before, it's all on a grid. And the grid, the smallest point of the grid is a quarter of this. So if we open up farming field, you can see it does small ticks. 1, 2, 3, 4. And those are the size of this. So you can either measure things with fields, with big blocks, or you can measure things smaller with just the post. So we want another 10 this direction, 10, and then 5. Just because, like I said before, I like simple math, and having a whole bunch of 50s totally makes sense to me. We have a hoe, a wooden hoe, which is probably going to die on us before we're done, or it's definitely going to die on us before we're done, but I'll go ahead and do a bit of this. So now we need a new hoe. We can go to handcrafting hoe, and we have the materials to make one, so we can get back to work. Now our hoe broke again and we're almost finished. We've got 2 more to do. So let me go get another log and we can continue with another hoe. Log, I think I just need 1. Yep. So we have another hoe. I just remembered I should probably check the traps. Got a bird. Rearm the trap. Got a rabbit. And it broke the trap, so let's make another one. Furniture and decorations. Traps. Rabbit trap. I happen to have enough sticks for it. So that's just getting us semi-passive hunting skill. And we have 2 more little plots to grub up. Boom. Our field is finished and it needs fertilizer. So now we know that we need 100 fertilizer and we have none at the moment. So I'm just going to put the tools in the barn. Someone on the Discord was nice enough to point out that I said something wrong in an earlier episode. I said that if you put these things in their farmer villagers will take them out. They will not. They will take them out of the farm shed, which I have not built yet. I'm putting these in here because I'm doing the farming myself at the moment. And I can just pull them out of here. So good to correct false information. I just realized I still have buckets on me, so I'm going to fill those here. And put them in the food storage. Buckets belong in the resource storage when they're empty. Filled buckets belong in the food storage because they are drink. And they end up in your inventory in food as well. I'm going to put all this meat in there. I can cook it later. I'm going to go in my hut and put some things away. For example, I'll keep the bronze knife on me. I don't need to carry around the bronze shovel or the bronze pickaxe or the copper arrows. I'll keep all of those arrows for now because it's good to have stuff. I don't need a bunch of almost broken torches on me right now. I don't need a wooden shovel on me right now. Technically I don't need to do this because I have unlimited carry capacity turned on. However, it's not a bad idea to do it, especially if you don't have that turned on. I keep tools and stuff that I need myself in my personal chest in my house. And it's good to unload yourself so you're not carrying around millions of things that you don't actually need to be carrying around. It just makes your load a little lighter, and it means you can carry more of the things you do need to carry. So all of that and those I could put in there. St. John's wort I accidentally picked up somewhere, happens all the time. The rich hood. Let me see. Yeah, so clothing I also always keep in my chest in my personal house because you need to change clothing between seasons, which makes sense. The rich hood, as you can see at the bottom left, it has very bad heat protection, but it has really good cold protection. So I'm going to put it in my chest and I can put it on when I get to winter. The thin boots have +5 cold protection, which is strangely less than the basic shoes that I'm wearing. So really, I don't know if I need to even keep the thin boots, but what we need is some fertilizer at the moment, and what we're planting is rye. I usually keep seed in the farm shed, which I haven't built yet. Because, well, we'll get to that when we build a farm shed. For now, I'm going to take that seed that I stupidly just put in here, cabbage seed, lots, a little bit of carrot seed. I think that's it for seed that I've got at the moment. Yeah. So I'm going to put those in the barn, and we'll talk about seed a little bit later. So the important thing about it, though, is we need 100 fertilizer and 100 rye seed, because we want to plant rye this season. So I'm going to run over to town and buy those things. If nothing happens, I'll fast forward all of this. So we're back at Piastovia. I just realized the other thing I forgot last time I was here is I wanted to talk to the herald. The herald gives you quests to do for the king. And they are what you need to do to unlock a sign that you can build in your village, which allows you to fast travel to your village, not from your village, unfortunately. And the herald is over there in the tavern. But first, we're gonna, where is he? Markoslav, there we go. Show me your wares. So we want 100 fertilizer. Start with manure, always start with manure. So 54 manure is enough to make 27 fertilizer. So we need 73 more. We can get 73 more from this guy. Boom. So that will be enough for 100 fertilizer, which is enough to make our 2 fields, to do the 2 fields. Let me just make sure I got that right. 54, half of 54, because it's 2 manure per fertilizer, is 27. So yeah, 73, and that should be 100. So if we go back over to him and we go down to the bottom, we're looking for rye grain, and we need 100 of it to do our 2 fields, because they're both going to be rye. It's expensive, but you only have to buy it once. Fertilizer you will also not have to buy in the future, but we'll get to that when we get to animals. And also the cabbage we dropped earlier will become rot, which is fertilizer. So let's talk to Ludomir.
How do you do?
What does the king desire? Or he says, greetings, I'm here by order of His Majesty, King Alphonse I the Generous. He has a special task for his subjects. What does the king desire? Our new king has brought longed-for peace to the realm. His Grace has ambitious plans for our kingdom. That's why he urgently asked for building materials to rebuild post-war destruction. Every help will be greatly appreciated. I will gladly provide building materials for reconstructions. Wonderful. I'll await your delivery. If you don't want to carry everything here, remember that you can leave it in your storage, provided that you have one, and tell me about it. I will have it collected later. All right. Thank you. So we have a new quest up in the top right. We need to make the kingdom great again. 200 logs, 900 stone, 100 limestone, and 400 straw. Now, when you do a king's challenge like this, you have 5 seasons to complete it. You don't have to panic and freak out right at the beginning. This one is pretty serious, especially since we don't have an excavation shed yet, which collects stone. But 5 seasons is a long time, especially if you have your season set to larger than the default 3 days. In fact, if you're having a hard time getting this done, you can work on it for 1 or 2 seasons, and then you can turn your season day, your season, how long a season is, you can turn that up. Season duration is the word I was looking for. You can turn your season duration up to 10 days, for example, and then you have longer to work on it, because it's not counting the days, it's counting the seasons. So let's go back to the village. So here we are. Bogush is telling us that he's starving, but I'm going to let him starve just for a minute to let you see what happens when you don't eat. I'm going to grab the hoe. I'm going to grab a couple logs just so that I can make more hoes. And we're good. So we'll go make manure out of, fertilizer out of the manure.
It seems I forgot about food.
And we're going to grab all the bags and the wooden hoe. And now, if we look in our inventory, we have bags, we have a copper hoe, we have a wooden hoe. Whoops, wooden hoe down the bottom. And over here we have 100 fertilizer and 100 rye grain. And some logs to make extra hoes. Actually, I'm not sure if that's enough for an extra hoe. No, we need sticks as well. But let's see if we need it. So we go over here, equip the bag, equip the copper hoe, and I'm going to go through this quickly because you certainly don't need to watch it, but I'm going to select with the bag, left trigger, I'm going to select fertilizer and fertilize this field, and then I will plow it or till it with the hoe, and then I will spread the seed on it, and I'll do it on the other field as well. So we're finished with fertilizing the first field, but I just wanted to show you quickly, if you look down in the bottom left, you can see that the food bar is, or the food circle is flashing red and it's empty, and the health circle is flashing red and it's going down bit by bit. This is what happens when you run out of food or you run out of water. We don't want to torture poor Bogush, so we'll feed him all of that and get his food up all the way. And now you see he's fine. His health is down a little bit, so it's not an absolute emergency when you run out of food or you run out of water, but you need to do something about it. And I'll continue with the fields. I'll just finish both of them and we'll continue from there. So it's nighttime, as people very often do in the early stages of the game. I worked poor Bogush into the evening, but both fields are fertilized, tilled, and sown with rye, and it's time for him to go to bed, I think. I went through the copper, actually, wait a sec. Check the traps. There's a rabbit. And there's a bird. So, the copper hoe actually lasts for a pretty long time, but I went through a bag and lots of seed. So it's time to sleep till the next day. Good morning, Bogush. So just in case you don't know, when you open the menus, time pauses. Things don't progress. So if you have to go get a coffee or something, it's good to open this first because you won't be losing any of your health or water gauge or anything like that. Let's go to the journal and have a look at the Herald's Quest, or the King's Challenge. The king wants to make the kingdom great again, and he wants 200 logs, 900 stone, 100 limestone, and 400 straw. So generally, my advice, these are random. First of all, these are random. The Herald appears randomly at the beginning of a season or doesn't. And the quest that you get is random. It may not be this one. It may not be a bunch of building materials. I've had it sometimes that the king just wants 1,000 coin, which is really easy and quick to do. This is not. This takes a lot of time, and like it says there, we have 5 seasons to do it. I assume including this one. So we have 4 more seasons after this one to do it. Collecting all of that stuff, you can let it go over time if you've got things built up. I have 2 woodcutters in woodsheds. They will collect 200 logs over time without me doing anything. That's easy. 900 stone and 100 limestone, I could mine myself, but it would be really, really, really tedious. So I'm gonna focus on building excavation sheds right now and getting some more villagers who can work in those excavation sheds. The straw is easy. We haven't seen it yet, but when you harvest rye, which we will do next season, next season is winter. We will harvest rye in spring. When you harvest rye, wheat, or oats, and you thresh them in the barn, you get a lot of straw. You get rye seed, in the case of rye, and a bunch of straw. So 400 straw is really easy. So logs and straw are basically taken care of. We don't have to worry about those. But stone is a bit more of a challenge. We only have 5 stone at the moment. We have no limestone. So what we're going to do today is build excavation sheds. Let's go over to the mine. It doesn't need to be near the mine. You can build an excavation shed anywhere you want. Wait a sec, actually. Let's get rid of our farming tools. Put them back. The bags, the wooden hoe, the copper hoe, and any seeds we have left over. We don't have any seeds left over. That's fine. Like I said, I don't have to do this because I have unlimited carrying capacity turned on. Like many things that I'm doing in this Let's Play, experienced players will probably be looking at me and going, what the hell are you doing? You should be far more advanced by now. And you're right. But I'm doing this Let's Play as kind of a tutorial as well. I'm trying to make it as beginner friendly as possible. So I'm doing some things not perfectly optimally in the beginning of the game to show a new player how their new player experience will be. So we can build a building, extraction, excavation shed. And I like just thematically, role-playing sort of. I like putting it near the mine. I like having these things kind of in a place where they might realistically belong. So let's put one there. Then if we open up management and go to buildings, we see the excavation shed. It can hold 2 people. And it's showing us right now that it's not built. It's placed, but it's not built. Which is also good to know. This red exclamation mark sometimes just means you've placed something and haven't built it. It doesn't mean there's a problem. So let's get to building this. Get our hammer out, and it shows us it needs 8 stone. 8 stone should be pretty easy. Down the bottom here, there's lots of stone. Some sticks as well. Stone. I'm picking up mushrooms accidentally, but that's fine. And we have 8 stone. Go back up and bang it in there. So now we need, I've got 2 logs, put them in. I need 4 more for the frame. And we know that spruce trees give more logs than birch trees, which are those down there. So let's attack some spruce trees. This gets much faster and much easier later on because we get better tools. Right now we're doing everything with a stone axe, which is not optimal. There's some logs. You'll notice also as you build these different buildings, as you get further into the game, different buildings have totally different kinds of requirements. If I remember correctly, the excavation shed is very log heavy as far as building it goes. Let's look around. Did we leave any logs behind? No. Okay, let's go up and get the frame done. So the excavation shed is very log heavy. Other buildings are very stick heavy. So, and then as we look at the walls, they're all logs. There are no sticks in this anywhere, I believe. Up the top there's straw, but otherwise the whole building is logs. So I'm going to fast forward me getting a bunch of logs. I just remembered something. I have a copper axe in my pocket. So I put the copper axe in there. It's a good trick
Do have a drink.
because taking down a tree takes a lot of hits. It's a good trick to take your best axe for taking down trees, but breaking up a tree into logs always takes 2 hits. So then you can save the durability on your good axe and do that with your cheap stone axe because it doesn't make any difference. So we're back to the excavation shed. I have enough logs and straw to finish it. So let's do that. There it is, and it gets its own chest. So to get 900 stone and 100 limestone, the best way to do it, unless you want to do a lot of tedious work yourself, is to get new villagers. And you need 2 villagers who are preferably skill 3 in extraction each. And you can put them in there and give them some pickaxes and they will gather stone and limestone for you. To do that though, let's see how our housing situation is. So if we look at houses, we only have 2. And one of them already has a man, Milan, and a woman, Amelia, in it. So we either need another man and woman and 1 more house, or we need 2 separate people and 2 more houses. So let's figure out where we want to put another house. I would strongly recommend for you, this is a common beginner mistake, which is why I did it. I did it very consciously. We have a whole bunch of stumps here and it looks pretty barren. Because we left the stumps, they will grow back in 2 years. But if you don't want a village that looks like this for 2 years, you should do what I've done and turn on unlimited carry weight and go further away, like over here, maybe down a bit, maybe the other side of the lake, or wherever you happen to be building. Go out of sight of your village with unlimited carry weight and collect a lot of logs somewhere where you can't see all the trees that are gone. And then come back to your village and build, and don't have stumps all over the place. We're gonna call this town Stumpovia, I think, because of this, or at least for 2 years it's going to be Stumpovia, and then at some point it may become something else Ovia. We'll see. Anyway, we need to build another house. And I think what I'm going to do actually is build a couple houses and get 2 separate villagers. So keeping with our little courtyard that we're developing here, let's see if we can put another one somewhere like this. See how close we can get it to the food storage. And maybe we'll put another one next to it over here. Maybe just facing out a little bit. Can we get one in here somewhere? Somehow. No, I think it's a bit too crowded with everything that's around it. Maybe we'll take out the well or put the well somewhere else. I don't know. Let's build this house first. I am sure I don't have everything I need for this, but let's do what we can first. Turns out I do have everything I need. Ah, except for one log, of course. But we have at least one log in the resource storage because our industrious woodcutters are logging it up for us. I turned them, because of the King's Challenge, I turned them on to 100% logs so that they're doing nothing but logging for us. So we have one house. We can hire one or recruit one villager. And where can we put another house? We're going to break away from our little courtyard. Although maybe I can squeeze one in here somehow. Oh, what was that? There. We can put it in right there. So, because we have 5 months for the King's Challenge, and I know that we need, I think, for a hut with a log foundation, we need 33 logs, I think. And I'm going to take all the sticks and all the straw, and maybe we can get this one built really quickly. We'll see how it goes. I think I have everything I need. Sometimes you miss, which is what just happened. So right now we're building everything with sticks. There we go, finished. We're building everything with sticks and straw roofs. That will change over time, but we'll get to that when we get to it. So now what I'm thinking is this courtyard, I like this courtyard. I don't like the well exactly where it is. So I'm gonna destroy the well. Whenever you're destroying a building of any sort, you have to do it piece by piece. So it'll show you the red bits that you have to destroy first. So let's see about an extraction well over just a bit further over here in the corner. Yeah. How close can it get to the food storage? Oh, very close. Let's put it very close to the food storage. And then we switch back to building mode. And we're not quite there yet. I'm going to leave the bird there until it breaks. I think we only need a couple of logs. Just grab 4 for good measure. And oh, my hammer broke. I'm going to need one more log. Or do we have any hammers? No, we don't have any hammers. So we get one more log. Make a hammer. And we should be able to now finish the well. Let's have our first drink from our new well. Slurp. And I like to put the traps near the well because you always go to the well for a drink over and over and over again. So you may as well put it there. I'll leave this one there until it breaks and then I'll make a new one over here. That's fine. Okay, so we have a pretty nice courtyard. We have extra buildings or houses, which we can see in the management tab. If we open up the buildings, we see we have simple small house with 0 people in it and another one with 0 people in it, which is cool. What I like to do, once your village gets bigger, you end up with a bunch of sort of districts where you have houses. You can build them all in one place, but I usually end up with a group of houses here and a group of houses over there, and I give them names. So these are all courtyard buildings. Let's go courtyard and then give them a number. So my house, the very first house I built, is courtyard 1. And then courtyard 2. And so on. There we go, courtyard 1, 2, and 3, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So it doesn't really matter at the moment because they're all right next to each other and I know what they are. But once you get a really big village and you've got things all over the place and you want to put, for example, a farmer in a house that is near the farm, you will be very happy that you named your houses because it makes it really, really easy to find a specific house. So these are all done. We want people for the extraction shed, and we're going to put them in these 2 houses. So potentially, if we want people to hook up and become a couple and have children, we can put them in houses together. So we have the ability now to recruit at least 4 more villagers. 2 farmers maybe, and 2 for the excavation shed. If we want to. But the focus to start with is on the excavation shed. Those are definitely the people we want at the moment. So I'm going to quickly run back into town. It's getting to be the end of the day. It's going to be dark soon, but I want to use the time I have. And I'm going to run back into Piastovia and see if we can find 2 people with an excavation skill of at least 3. See you in Piastovia. So we're coming up on Piastovia, and like I showed previously, there's the little people up in the compass. These are people you can recruit. They refresh, you get new ones every season. This is where we recruited Milan and Amelia, who are in our village already. And all we want in Spectre mode is the first one needs to be 3. This guy has got 4 3s, Milogost. We're definitely hiring Milogost. Look at that. 3 in extraction, hunting, diplomacy, and production. Milogost is an awesome villager. We need more reputation. I thought this might happen. So he says, first, I'd like to make sure you don't have any serious flaws in your reputation. Nothing personal, but you can never be too careful. And then it shows you in brackets that your dynasty reputation required is 300. We can see in our management tab that our reputation is 200. So we need at least 100 more. If we go to hire someone else, he's got a 3 in extraction, which is nice. He's a loser. Yeah, so we want this guy. And Milogost. We want Milogost and Roach? I don't know. I don't know how to pronounce that. But Roch and Milogost, one of them is going to tell us we need 300 reputation. And then right after that, I think the next one is going to tell us we need 400. So what we're going to do, a quick way to get some reputation. Bobush is hungry. Let's eat a mushroom, which doesn't help very much, and some roasted meat, and another mushroom. Those poisonous a little bit. You see the poison down the bottom left, but only a really, really little bit. So it doesn't really matter. Let's eat another one of those. And we can cook the meat here in town. I have a bucket of water. I put it in my inventory just to show you that you can drink from buckets of water. So if you carry one with you, you could drink. They weigh a lot, so they're a bad way to carry around water. You can get a water skin, which of course is a much better way. And we just haven't got one yet. But you can buy one of those. I usually keep one filled on me for emergencies. It allows you to drink 4 times. The bucket allows you to drink 10 times, but 4 times is usually enough to get out of an emergency. And honestly, on this map anyway, there is water everywhere. There are creeks and rivers and swamps and whatever. You're never very, very far away from water. So the water skin is really just in case of a real emergency. So I'm going to go back over to the notice board. I don't think we've looked at the notice board yet. So the notice board has a bunch of different things that you can, jobs that you can do for people. And it shows you what it is, what you need to do, in this case, hunt 2 wolves, which I'd rather not right now, and what you get for it. You get 160 coin and 50 dynasty reputation. Here, if I bring him 5 logs, which is super easy, I get 27 coin and 50 dynasty reputation. I need at least 100. I probably need 200. So if I make some wooden shovels and some simple bags, I get 50 dynasty reputation and some wheat grain, which is nice. Won't have to buy it. And if I make some small wicker baskets, I get 60 dynasty reputation. So I'm going to take the logs and sticks. I'm going to take the wooden shovels and simple bags. And I'm going to take the small wicker baskets. All of these quests, you only have a season to do them, otherwise you fail and get nothing and lose dynasty reputation. So I'm actually going to take the time in the night. I'm going to put it in my journal. I'm going to put the logs on first. I need 5 logs. I need to go, if we look on the map, I need to go far enough outside of this red. I need to get out of Piastovia and out of this red area so that I can actually cut trees. So I'm just going to go straight. We saw on the map there was a triangular intersection, which I believe is this. Nope, not quite. Need to go further. So here's the triangular intersection. I'm not going to cut down this tree because it's a beautiful big maple tree. But maple trees give you 4 logs each. And I need 5. So I'll cut down 1 maple tree and I broke my axe. 1 maple tree and 1 birch tree. Again, I'll leave the stumps so these trees will grow back. It'll just take 2 years. And that'll actually give me 6 logs because birch trees give 2 and maple trees give 4. As you can see, 4 logs. Log, 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 log. So that quest is basically done. I just need to turn it in. What else have we got? The shovel taker. 1 wooden shovel. So 1 wooden shovel, wait a sec, if we look in handcrafting, 1 wooden shovel takes 2 logs. So I'm going to craft one of those and cut down another tree because now we're one log down. Oops, that is too close. That is too close to Piastovia. I can't cut those down at all. But there's a little birch tree here. Okay, so I've got all the logs. The shovel taker, I need simple bags, and the basket beaver, I need small wicker baskets. I may actually buy those just for convenience, because if we look in the inventory, I have 104. I think that's enough to buy those baskets. Shovel taker, we need simple bags, which means we need 7 leather, because we need 7 more simple bags, and we craft simple bags in handcrafting simple bag, and they take 1 leather. So let's maybe go to sleep in our bed in the sick house in Piastovia. The simple bags are simple. Super easy, barely an inconvenience. But we'll do them tomorrow morning. Now that we've got a recurve bow and iron arrows, getting... Wait a sec. Who is it that sells the... I think it's Markuslav? Markuslav sells baskets. And if we can find Markuslav, there he is around the corner. Where is he? Oh, he's gone to bed. Yeah, that's sensible, Markuslav. It's time for people to go to bed. So I'm also going to go to bed. I think I've got some meat. May as well cook it. No, I don't have any meat. Okay, so let's sleep. Morning, Bogush. So, if we go around the corner, we can check with Markuslav. Yep, he's already up. He's cutting wood. But we can still bug him about his business. He's happy to sell things. So we need small wicker baskets. I believe a small wicker basket is really cheap. So we're going to buy 4 of those for 18. Easy.
Have a nice day.
So that quest is also done. And all we've got left is the shovel taker, which needs 7 more simple bags. We could buy those. They're also not super expensive, but since we have a recurve bow now, which is a much better bow, and we have iron arrows, which are much better arrows, we can one-shot a deer pretty easily. Or actually, I might try moose. So moose are big animals, but they are not aggressive. There are some of them right outside Piastovia, over here on the right. In the marshy bits, they tend to like marshy areas, swampy areas. And I think if we get a headshot on a female moose with this bow and these arrows, it'll be a one-shot kill, I think, but I'm not sure. So let's find out. Actually, let's go for the male. Maybe we can get... Okay, got a headshot on him, didn't kill him. So we're going to have to chase him a little bit. But if we get another headshot, that I think should kill him. He's easier to chase because he's got big antlers, and you can tell which one is the one that you wounded. Got him again, but in the shoulder. got him. So, a headshot and 2 body shots was enough. So we get our 2 arrows back. And 20 leather, which is more than enough to make... In fact, we'll make 20 simple bags. And that'll finish the quest and have some to sell and use. So, doing those 3 quests should get us 50, 160 dynasty reputation. Oh, here's some stuff left on the side of the road. There's some wheat, some planks, some logs, or a log, more planks, more wheat. We'll take all of this. Again, I probably wouldn't take all of this necessarily if I didn't have... whenever I get the chance to punch a rabbit, I take it. Yeah, we wouldn't necessarily pick up everything everywhere without unlimited carrying capacity turned on, especially things like logs are heavy. I see another rabbit. It's rabbit punching time. Whoa, tricky rabbit. Not tricky enough, though. So, let's go back, turn in all 3 of these quests, and we'll have enough dynasty reputation to hire at least 1 villager, maybe 2, or we may have to do another quest. We have a quest outstanding for Swir, and maybe we'll finish that, and that'll give us enough. So here's Derwan. We give him those. We give him...
Good luck.
I'm just doing this quickly. Oh, wait a sec.
See you soon.
One of those quests isn't for Derwan. Oh, I forgot about this. This is a quest for Zagota. And if we go into the map and look around... Yeah, okay, so she's not... There are some of these Noticeboard quests that require you to go way outside of Piastovia to another town, which can be kind of annoying. We got a new level in diplomacy. I'm going to take diplomacy knowledge to start with. Yeah, some of these quests, most of the Noticeboard quests go to Derwan. Some of them go way outside of town and are kind of a pain in the ass. The quest itself is really easy to do. The delivery is time consuming. But where is Zagota? Zagota is...
How can I help you?
Shoveling bags.
So long.
There we go. So that's all 3 of those quests done. Now, if we look in management, we have 360 dynasty reputation, which is very low, but it's enough to get 1 more villager. So let's do that first, and then we'll come back and do this guy's quest. Swir. We already, in the first episode, I think we already took his quest and we did the first step, but it's a multi-step quest that requires you to get some items and go all over the map for him and do that. So we'll do that in a minute. Bogush, rather, is a bit dirty and needs a drink. So drink, bathe. Like I said before, water needs to be about waist high and then you can bathe in it. So our little dirty meter went away in the bottom. Let's get over here, and it was this guy, wasn't it? Milogost, who has great skills. So Milogost, Join us. Sounds like what I was looking for. With pleasure. Great. See you there. Okay. So Milagost is going to have all of those warnings in the top left. We go in, we give him an empty house, and we give him a job, and all of those will go away. There we go. So if we try and hire another, yeah, it was Roche, Roche, whatever. He wants us to have 400 reputation. So yeah, we do need to do that other quest. So let's go back to our journal. The quest that's still open is the end is nigh. What we need is 3 rye, 2 roasted meat we already have, 2 perch, and 1 stone. So we can pick up a stone. That's easy. And we see it update in the top right. The perch and the rye I'll buy from the market. It's a hell of a lot more efficient than going and fishing. You can fish with a bow, but it's not very easy. It's easier with a fishing spear. But I don't have a fishing spear, and I don't want to buy one, so we're going to buy 2 roasted meat and 2 perch. No, sorry. We're going to buy 3 rye and 2 roasted meat. No, that's also wrong. Bear with me. We're going to buy 3 rye and 2 perch. So, rye... he doesn't have rye. He has perch. So we're going to buy 2 perch, and then we're going to go over to Markoslav and buy 2 rye.
It's not stolen, just
Was it 2 rye?
borrowed.
3 rye.
How can I help?
Man, my memory is really not great. You may have noticed. So 3 rye.
Only the so long.
So now if we look in the upper right, we see we have everything we need. 3 rye, 2 roasted meat, 2 perch, and 1 stone. So we're going to go back over to Swir. Quickly, we've got no time to spare. Do you have everything we need? I do. Can I go now? Great, great. Now hear me very carefully, because I won't come with you. And it's of the utmost importance that you exactly follow the instructions. So better focus. Wait, why can't you go and do it yourself? Because the dark forces know me all too well. They won't let me get anywhere near the tree. How convenient. You mean inconvenient? Yeah, exactly. So focus now. You need to go to the swamp. Find the tallest tree. It has no leaves all year round, and it stands in the middle of a clearing. You need to come close to it and place the objects there. Put the stone in the middle. Above it and on its left side, you need to place 2 perches. On its right side and below, put 2 pieces of roasted meat. And finally, 2 bundles of rye on the left side and 1 on the right. I think I get it. So what I always do with things like this, because I have a crap memory, is screenshot them. So, screenshot made. I think I get it. So now we need to go. That didn't give us any dynasty reputation. We'll get a fair bit when we finish this quest, because it's a more complicated quest with multiple steps, and it also has a reward which is worth some money if you sell it. But now we need to get over to the swamp. For your orientation, the swamp is basically straight north, where we have a quest marker now. So we're going to run up there, and I'll meet you in the swamp. So here we are in the swamp, coming from Piastovia, from the south. That is the big tree over there. You can see it. It's pretty obvious. It's the biggest tree. And like Swir said, it has no leaves. I have referred to my screenshot. And one of the things which can be confusing, I recommend whenever you have a quest like this where you have to go to a certain place, I recommend you use inspector mode and you look around and you'll see yellow when there's a specific place. I've seen people do this on their Let's Plays and they had a real problem with it because they were just dropping the items in various places around the tree, and that doesn't work. It's very specific, so you have to do it here at the ritual site. To be honest, I kind of hate quests like this. What this quest is testing is either, do you have a good memory, can you make a screenshot, or do you make good notes? And then it uses tricky language by reorganizing how things are written, so you have to think about it. So what Swir said is above and on its left side, 2 perches, which is fish. On its right side and below, 2 pieces of roasted meat. So fish above and on the left, meat below and on the right, yes. And then what do you need to do with the rye? You need to put 2 bundles of rye on the left and 1 on the right. So 2 bundles on the left and 1 on the right. And leave this place. And that's correct. Looking at the top right, it updated, and now we need to go back and talk to Swir. So I'll see you in Piastovia. So we're back in Piastovia, and here is Swir. Did you perform the ritual exactly like I told you? Yes, everything as you ordered. You saved us all. Good job. Excellent job. I was afraid that something would kill you or suck your soul, but here you are, as right as rain. Hey, did you really? You deserve a reward. That's for you and your friends or family members. This will give you some protection against dark forces. A warm hat? A warm hat indeed, but beware if you ever take it off. Now I need to go. There are other dark forces lurking in the dark, but don't you fret. I'll be coming back to check in if there is no need to renew the ritual. That's exactly what I fret. What? Nothing. So he goes away and he gives us 4 warm hats. So let's look at that. And we got the dynasty reputation that we needed. Now we have 660, which is more than enough to hire 1 more guy for the excavation shed. So let's look at our inventory. We got warm hats. We got 4 of them. They provide 10% cold protection, and they are worth 810 each, so we can sell each of them for 405. I will keep 1 and sell 3, and now is a good time to get ourselves prepared for winter. So if we go to Imislava again, she is the lady who sells clothing. So first of all, let's sell... she can only afford 1 warm hat? Okay, that's fine. We can sell the others elsewhere. But if we go down the bottom, there is winter clothing. And does she have anything else that is warm clothing? No, she doesn't. So let's buy winter trousers, 1. Winter shoes, which provide 15, and our basic shoes provide 8. So it's not a huge gain. Let's buy a winter coat for sure. We have a warm hat already. Let's buy a winter coat and sell the other winter hats or warm hats to this dude. We want to keep, we'll sell 2. Good. So if we look at what we've got now, we have a warm hat gives us 10% cold protection down the bottom left. Winter coat gives 15, so 25. That gives us another 11, so 36. Our basic shirt gives us 4, so that's 40. And what else are we wearing? Our shoes give us 8, which is 48, which is not bad, actually. It's not bad to start with. We'll see in winter if that's enough. But the main thing we wanted to do this autumn is get the excavation shed running at full capacity. So let's go back and hire somebody that has a 3 in excavation. And then we're good for this autumn, basically. More or less.
Always complaining. Damn it. Now I'm also complaining.
So, what have we got? We've got a 2 in excavation, a 1 in excavation, a 2 in excavation, a 1 in excavation, and a 3. And otherwise 2's all over the place. So, Roche, probably Roche, is the guy we want. Join us. So again, we get the needs icons up in the upper left. If we go and open management, we can put him in a house and we can give him a job in the excavation shed. I'm pretty sure we're going to get a no tool warning for him because Milogost is probably using the bronze pickaxe. And Roche won't have anything to use. And we don't want Milogost using the bronze pickaxe forever because it'll wear it out. And we want Roche to have a tool to work with. But he's walking back to town. He's not complaining about tools yet because he hasn't actually gotten to work yet. So we're going to run back to town and I'll see you there. So here we are back in the village. 2 things happened on the way. One, I got a skill, or got a skill, 2 skill points in survival. I put them in insensitive. So this gives me 6 degrees of more temperature tolerance. This is mostly important in winter, which is next season. We have clothing for winter, but this perk, this skill also helps resist the temperature a little. So that's useful. The other thing I did was I collected a bunch of trees, logs, and stones basically, and I made a bunch of stone pickaxes, which I'm going to put in the resource storage. The guys in the excavation shed, if they're doing stones, so stone or limestone, they need pickaxes. If they're doing clay, which is the other thing they can collect, they need shovels. But we've got them on stone, and they have pickaxes, stone pickaxes, and the bronze pickaxe appears to be gone, and so I guess he used it all up, or he hasn't finished work yet and hasn't put it back. So check traps, rabbit trap, there's a rabbit, rearm it, bird trap is broken, but there's a bird. And I can put down a furniture and decorations, traps, another bird trap. And we'll just keep collecting that semi-passive hunting skill or hunting experience. So we've got the village going pretty good. We've got people in all of our houses. We've got an excavation shed. We've got a little money. We've got a kitchen and a food storage. We've got 2 fields. And I think we're going to be doing pretty well for the King's Challenge now that we've got people in the excavation shed. So we can go over there and see excavation shed. We have 2 people working. Editing Matt here. This is actually why nothing was happening. Nobody was complaining about tools that they didn't have because I didn't put any assignments in. Typical rookie mistake. Whenever you, at the very beginning, the first time you assign someone to a building, there are going to be no assignments. And you have to put assignments in there and then make sure they have tools and resources they need. And then they will start working. Back to your regularly scheduled program. They're doing, there's no assignments. That's stupid. Right now we want stone and limestone. Stone. Let's put that up to 90%. Let's put limestone up a bit as well. So we'll slowly be collecting limestone, but mostly focusing on stone. Per day, they'll get 54. So let's say it's 50. If we look at our quest, we need 900. At 50 a day, it'll take 18 days. If our seasons are 5 days, it'll take 3 and a bit seasons. So we should be doing pretty good on that. We may need to help them out by running around and gathering some stones if we want to finish early. We've got 123 of 200 logs, which is fine. We're doing really well on that. In spring, 2 seasons from now, we're going to get a lot of straw, so we're not worried about straw. So the King's Challenge, we should be able to finish in spring if we help them out with the stones. We'll see. Actually, maybe we put them on limestone, because limestone for me to gather it is more difficult. The other thing is, you see how all of our villagers are kind of standing around? We can help them with that by building benches. So this one, we can buy it for 500. And we can put down benches for them to sit on. You see how they're sort of like, you see the person, which way they're facing. Put that there. Turn this around. There are obstacles. I don't know what the obstacles are, but put those down like that. We've already got one of our villagers sitting there. Amelia is enjoying having somewhere to sit, which is nice. And eventually we'll build a campfire in the middle of it as well. But for now, we're going to go to bed. Good night, Bogush. Good morning, Bogush. So we have, if we look at the season meter at the top of the screen, the orange with the autumn leaf, we have 1 day left in autumn. We're going to do, and you can see our villagers enjoy having somewhere to sit, which is great. I think what we're going to do is we're going to get ready for automated farming. So if we go to buildings, farming, farm shed, you can put a farm shed down somewhere. I'm going to line it up with the barn. So that's pretty lined up. And we'll just put it there. And it needs 8 stones and sticks and straw. We should have everything we need for it. I don't know if I said this before, but if you just hold down A or the select command on, or button on your whatever you're using. Okay, so we need 5 more logs and straw, and we'll have the farming shed finished. If you just hold down A or the select key on whatever you're using, it will continually pick up anything you point at. Actually, I think we need those sticks. And we need some logs. We don't want to take all of the logs out, even if we have unlimited carry capacity on, because our people need those to make firewood. They're making a little firewood on the side, I believe. And if you take those logs out, they will stop doing that, and you'll get a notification that there's a problem. So, logs, sticks, logs, sticks, logs, straw, and it's done. So now that we have a farm shed, I'm going to take all those farming things that I was leaving for myself in here. I'm going to take those out and put them all in the chest in the farming shed. So when you have people farming the fields, they use the farm shed. And anything you put in the box in the farm shed, in the chest, they will use. They will also take what they need out of the resource storage, but you can also put it in here. What I do is I always put the seeds and the grain in the chest in the farm shed as much as needs to be planted. And right now it's not a problem because we have so little grain, but in the future we're going to have a lot of grain. For example, we have 104 cabbage seed. That's fine because we need 100 to plant 2 fields that are 5 by 10. But in the future, we're going to have 1,000 cabbage seed, and we may need 200 of it. You can put 200 in here and put the rest somewhere not in the resource storage, for example, if you want to sell that seed. And they will not use it, they will not be able to use it. This is also the reason that I put things that are mine, like tools I want to use, I put them in my house. So if we go back up to the house, I put, for example, my warm clothing in the chest. I put the bronze pickaxe in the chest because I want to use it. I don't want the people I've got to use it. So anything you really want to save for yourself, put it in your own chest. Your villagers cannot get to it. If you put it in the resource storage, they will pull it out and potentially use it. So the bronze pickaxe that I want, I don't put it in the resource storage. Same thing with the farm shed. If you put something in the farm shed, anyone farming the fields can get to it, and you can also pull stuff out and use it. So I put the grain that we actually need to plant in the farm shed, and the other grain, which we might turn into flour, if it's wheat grain or rye grain, I might turn oats and rye into animal feed, all of that stuff. I don't put it in the farm shed. I put it somewhere else because I'm using it. But to save things that shouldn't be turned into flour or animal feed, I put them in here. And then it's fine. We don't have anything else, in the barn, so that's good. So when we have more villagers, I can put them in the farm shed, which if we open up management and go to buildings and go to farming, we can see we now have a barn where you can make people thresh grain, so create wheat grain, oat grain, rye grain, flaxseed. They can make fertilizer out of manure. They can make fertilizer out of rot. They can make animal feed out of oat grain, rye grain, straw. They can make 3 different kinds of flour. So 6 wheat grain makes 10 flour. 6 oat grain, 6 rye grain, but they make less. And daub, which is insulation for wooden buildings. For that you need clay and straw. All of these things you can see down the bottom left. Also good to know, go back to the buildings, farm shed, on the right side at the top, if we go between these 2 tabs, this one is the box in that building, and it shows you everything that is actually in that box, which is useful if you're not actually in your village and you're not able to check. Also, and it took me a long time to notice this, down in the storages, you see all of your storages. So if you want to know what you have stored in your food storage and you're not at your food storage, you can open it up and you can see it. If you want to know what you have in your resource storage, you can open it up and you can see it. Very good to know. And I'm glad I checked because I have a whole bunch of meat in my food storage, which is raw and is going to go off if I don't cook it. So I'm going to grab all of that. And we have our cabbage here, which is going to be rot next season, which will fertilize our fields. If I remember correctly, rot is 10 to 1, so 10 rot makes 1 fertilizer. So if we have that cabbage there, It's a weird mathy kind of game sometimes. I said before, this is 200 cabbage. Cabbage has a food value of 3, which means it will turn into 600 rot. 600 rot will make 60 fertilizer, so not enough to fertilize our 2 fields. So now that we have a bunch of roasted meat that we can give them, we may want to, for example, roasted meat has a 14 food value. So we may want to drop all of the cabbage and just give them roasted meat for now. Later, if food becomes a non-issue, we're going to drop all of the cabbage and make it into rot. So that's 333. That will turn into 999 rot, which will make, what is that? That's 1,000. It's 10 to 1. It'll make exactly, or 1 less probably, than 100 fertilizer. And 100 is what we need right now because we have 2 50 plot fields. So water is doing well. Cheese I'm going to keep because if you look at the bottom, cheese is 90 food and it's 50% less stamina consumption when you eat it, which is awesome for you, the player character. It doesn't really do anything for the villagers. Mushroom is food. I'll put that in there. You can see all of our food here. Chicory is listed as food, but it belongs in the resource storage. You can see at the bottom left, which is kind of a weird thing. You can theoretically, you can just eat it. So that's why it's actually considered food. But yeah, it's used, it's a resource for potions, which is why it's here. Also broadleaf plantain, you can eat it, gives you 5 health, but it's for potions. That's why it's a resource. I'm going to put the water in there for our people. And wait, I'm getting confused. Go over to the resource storage and unload anything extra that I have. Logs, sticks, straw, wheat, chicory, I still have the stone sickles, which belong in the farming shed. You can put these, this is just a thing I do. You don't have to do it. You can put stone sickles, since they are tools for farming, you can put them in the resource storage and they can get to them. I put all the farming stuff, the field farming stuff, in the farm shed because I like to do a lot of the farming, not all of it, but I like to harvest, for example. And then I put all of these in there that I can get to them quickly. And I put the seeds in there to separate them from the other seeds. So to make sure that we have enough for planting. So that's why I do that. You don't have to do it. You can throw all of this stuff in the resource storage. Either way, they'll be able to get to it. So we have a warning in the top left. If we open the management tab, we can see that the woodshed is missing tools, and it shows us the tool is an axe. So they need axes. We're gonna do something we probably shouldn't do. And no, actually we're not gonna do that. I was gonna say we could dip into our resources that are in the resource storage. I am going to avoid doing that. The more you work, the hungrier you get. You are right, Bogush. Have some cheese. I'm not going to dip into the resource storage because we're trying to collect all this stuff for the king. So I'm going to collect a whole bunch of things that I need to make axes. And just let my villagers gather things I need for the king. I can do this work and they can keep working for the man. The man being the king. What do I need for axes? I need sticks and stones. May break my bones. I've said it before, you can get these little saplings. Here are a couple more. And they give you more sticks at one time than picking up sticks that are lying on the ground. Sticks, sticks, and stones and sticks. This is always a good way to find things that are on the ground. It's the survival sense skill in the survival skill tree. Get it as soon as you can. It's very useful. The only thing I don't like about the survival sense skill is it doesn't show you saplings. So this is a sapling, which will give me a bunch of sticks, and it doesn't glow. That's kind of weird. I think it should. I've put it on the suggestion list for the devs. We'll see if they agree with me that's a good idea and if they can build it easily. Maybe it'll turn up in an update. That would be nice. So essentially, when your workers are missing a tool, they are not working, which I guess makes sense. I'm gonna pick up a mushroom to get to that. And we'll see that in a minute. I will go back over there where the woodsheds are, and we'll see that my workers are doing nothing. Or at least one of them. I think one of them doesn't have a tool, an axe. Pick up a lot of stones. And again, you can see how convenient unlimited carrying capacity is. So axes, I can make only 4. I want to make maybe 10 because the stone axes go away pretty quickly, but I'll go over and put these away now. You don't have to sit here watching me collect stones. So you see, Amelia is just standing here. She's not doing anything. That's because she doesn't have axes. If we put axes in the resource storage or in the chest at the woodshed, she will start working again. So stone axes, 5. The tool warning in the top left goes away, and she'll start working again. You can see that the other woodcutter, he's working because he still had an axe, and now Amelia is going over and she starts working because she now has an axe. So you can tell by looking at your villagers if there's a problem sometimes. Let's have a drink, check the traps, they're fine, haven't caught anything. So we've got sort of a nice little courtyard going on here. I think we're going to put a path to it. So if you open your wheel here, right bumper on console, and you go to this, you get this little stick. And if it's red, you can't build there. It's obvious. And if it's green, you can. And what this does is it makes paths. Now, I like doing short bursts of path to keep it kind of natural looking and not just do one big straight line. And I usually try and think, what's the logical place that a path would be going? So certainly the place that I've been running back and forth to all the time is the resource storage. So I think that's a sensible place for this path to go to. And of course, people branch out and go to other places from there. It's up to you whether you want to path everything. I could basically pave this whole area. I might make one path branching off from this one. And I always like to go to the edge, just where it turns red, turns green, and get it green and then make a path over to the food storage. And I will leave it at that for now. It's enough pathing. So I think our little courtyard here is actually kind of cool. I kind of like it. It'll be a lot nicer once these 2 trees grow back and more trees around the place grow back. There'll be some shade, but that's going to take until spring year after next. So it's going to be quite a while. But I think maybe for this video, that is enough. I might off camera do some resource gathering and that kind of thing. But if we look at our quest for the king, you can see that our guys are steadily gathering stone. Our woodcutters are steadily gathering logs. Limestone is going slow. Straw will probably knock it out no problem next season because of the fields of rye that we've got going on. Let's do maybe a quick flyover. And you can see the whole village with the fields and everything. It's starting to get there. It's starting to look like something. It's not bad. I think for the rest of what we build, we'll spread out further. These are pretty close together. Some of them, like my house and or Bogus's house and the kitchen and the well, are really close together. But it's nice having a bit of space because as we go down in the future, we might want to put fences to give the houses little yards, that kind of thing. We've also got way over there, you can just see it, the excavation shed. And I think we'll be expanding back that way and up that way where the hunting lodge is. You can't see it, it's in the trees, but there is a hunting lodge back there. And we'll see how that goes in later episodes. But for now, I'm going to say goodbye, and Bogus also says goodbye. It's been a pleasure having you. If you enjoyed this, please like it. If you didn't enjoy it, please downvote it. That's fine. It's also interaction. And if you want to keep up with this series, and I'm going to be doing a series of quick tips coming up soon, much shorter videos focused on just one subject, then give me a subscribe, and I'll see you next episode in winter.
I envy you simpletons. It's easy to be happy when you don't realize how miserable you are.